After the little morning walk, this glorious day, it'll be time to have a coffee and then talk about... Shall we talk about today? England, of course. What a moment, isn't it? How does it feel this morning? I imagine as amazing as it felt last night. There's another reason for me to celebrate. My Maradona book is out today. There'll be a little chat about that too. And new episodes of the podcast out. All that in today's video. But first, as I said, a coffee. Got lots to say about England, starting with the group of players and the leadership of Gareth Southgate. A lot has been written about it, but just to reinforce the point, people in power tend to say, you artists, you football players, don't mix sport or art with politics. How can you not do that when actually every decision you make every day have some politics behind it? So Henderson, Sterling, Rashford, amongst others, have decided that yes, they're gonna mix it because it's the same thing. And they defended fantastic causes like BLM or online abuse, or Henderson remind everyone that you can be gay and camp or whatever, but still enjoy football surrounded by masses of other fans. That doesn't earn you a victory, but it makes your victory something to celebrate. As well as, of course, Gareth Southgate is changing the narrative of what England is about. Through his humbleness, generosity, the way he talks, all that, it's making England look and sound different. And we know that that's also England, but sometimes the narrative has been taken away from all that. So again, well done to England, well done to this group of players, and an example to follow what Gareth Southgate and the players are doing on and off the pitch. Secondly, the game was well managed by England. In long spells, Denmark had control of the game with the ball, but England had control of the game without the ball. Not many chances were created, and after conceding 1-0, they didn't change at all. The system, the idea is very, very clear. A sound defensive structure that allows you to take advantage of the quality of front. So individual moves is what was expected of the players up front. We've said it along the tournament, and that's what happened. That fantastic pass from Kane to Saka, and of course the move of Sterling for the penalty. We'll talk about the penalty in a little bit. At the back of all that, both goalkeepers had to make saves, but Kasper Schmeichel's ones were absolutely crucial, especially the one to Sterling, but also the header of Maguire, crucial for Denmark to stay in the game until the end. Sterling, man of the tournament for England. I don't think there'll be discussion, or I thought it wouldn't be. I put it on Twitter today, but I'm hearing other names. No. Sterling, for me anyway, have been influential with the ball because the attacks of England depend on quality, individual quality. He's been given the opportunity to go 1v1 on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, he's even better with those diagonals that he makes, but also without the ball. Especially on the left-hand side, he created a lot of havoc in between the third centre-back and the wing-back. That's the weakness of the system that Denmark used. And Sterling was very, very clever to be in there and run in behind and run against Larsen, the winger on the right-hand side that Sterling attacked so much when he was placed on the left-hand side. And Christensen, who was the third centre-back that he faced as well. There was all that he did, but of course he was crucial too in the penalty moment, which, should we talk about it now? But before we do, special mentions of course to Harry Kane, who understood that he had to drop deep and link up in the middle and trying to receive those balls that the midfielders and the defenders were given to the forwards for something to happen, and then his clever eye allowed to open up the defense of Denmark, and Maguire, who was a leader at the back and also created danger in set pieces in attack. The penalty. The first thing to say is that the referee allowed a lot of play outside the box during the whole game. So it didn't make a lot of sense to actually give that penalty for a little bit of a contact. Or was there contact? Because that's the other thing that has surprised me to hear Sterling say that he felt the contact in his feet and then he stumbled and went down. When actually I thought the foul was with the hip, not with Mull, but with the second one, with Jensen. There is contact in the hip, which unbalances him and then makes him fall. Quite clearly, Sterling, feeling the contact, helped the referee take a decision. You see, it's not just foreign players that do that. When you are in the box, if this happens to you, you've got the right to help the referee. Do I think it was a penalty? No, I don't think it was a penalty. By the way, it's true that on a technicality, with the second ball being present and where Sterling was running, the goal should have been disallowed. And of course, there was the laser on Schmeichel's face while he was about to stop the penalty, actually, so it didn't affect him much. But they're just technicalities. Those things happen. Especially happens teams to nations that kind of organize tournaments. Let's say that England are playing at home. Spain in '82 against Yugoslavia on the group stage, second game, there was a penalty 2 meters outside the box that was given to Perico Alonso, actually, Xabi Alonso's dad. And because the penalty was missed by López Ufarte, it was replayed. So it was a scored that allowed us eventually to get into the next round, even though we didn't go far. See, it happens to everyone. In Korea had a little bit of help against Italy and Spain, didn't they? It just happens. It's part of football, no conspiracy. Who cares, right? You're in the final. There are 2 new episodes of the Pure Football podcast. One with Julen Lopetegui. We disrupt his holidays. Shows off actually the fact that he lives by the sea and what that brings to him. Plus a lot of detail on what kind of manager he is. And of course, I'm accompanied by Charlotte Gizon and Vicky Blumet, who are going to be my partners in crime in the next Pure Football podcasts. There is also, to celebrate the fact that Maradona's biography is out, I'm going to do a series of podcasts as well to accompany the book. The first one is the conversation I had with Gary Lineker about Diego Armando Maradona for the book, but I've asked Gary if I could just use it as one of the podcasts. He said no problem at all, and I think you will enjoy because he goes back to that World Cup, to that game against Argentina, to the meetings that he's had with Diego, and a lot of little detail again that you will enjoy. So, finally, the Maradona biography in English is out, because in Spanish it has been for 2 or 3 weeks. And here it is. The boy, the rebel, the god. Doesn't it look good? Do you know what? It's the first time I'm holding a new copy of the book in English. Surprisingly, we are already the #1 best-selling books for sports biographies. Look! How did that happen? Well, thank you very much for those that bought it or pre-ordered it. It should be now on its way to you. A lot to say about the cover. I really, really like it. Back as well. I've tried to explain the Armando Maradona, and there is so many layers. First of all, that I had to take off, because I think everybody takes Maradona to their own home and makes them their own god in their own way, with their own rules. But you take all that away, and what you get is an amazing story. I must say, out of all the books that I've done, the person with more angles, and all kinds of angles as well. Keep an eye on the podcast, because that will give you little clues of what the book is about. Remember, it's out there. One of the most extraordinary people to ever walk on the field of football.